Coming up on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week.
Halfway through the semester, we'll tell you what the Dearman administration has or hasn't done.
Goodbye Blue Books, hello laptops. Students are now taking exams in a whole new way.
And in sports, how much do fans mean to Carolina athletics? I'll tell you why filling these seats helps the bottom line.
Rob Ellis is here with a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
And Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and welcome to the October 26th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Tara Higgerson.
And I'm Lydia Garlikov. Student Body President Seth Dearman would have no problem with the 12-page term paper. That's because Tuesday he released a 167-page document outlining his accomplishments. Elizabeth Crumpler joins us now in the newsroom with details about the report. Elizabeth?
Lydia, in addition to the almost 200-page report, Dearman also published a 26-page abridged version to make the report more accessible to students and administrators. I sat down with Dearman Wednesday morning to talk about the goals he's accomplished and what he still has left to do. October marks the halfway point for the Dearman administration. With 6 months behind them and 6 left to go, Dearman gives himself a passing grade.
I think we're in great shape, definitely. We've knocked out some platform points, and at the same time, we've started work on just about all of them, and those that we haven't, we're starting work on right now.
Already, Dearman says they've reached one of the most important goals of their platform, making student government more accessible to the student body. Other goals they've accomplished? Dearman told me that in addition to transparency with the student body accomplished through things such as office hours in the pit, they've made strides with their Student Life Integrated Calendar of Events, or SLICE, that connects various student organizations online. They've also accomplished several small projects, such as putting condoms in vending machines, working with the Center for Nutrition to bring a farmer's market to campus, and beginning work on the long-term project of bringing wireless internet connection to Franklin Street. In the 6 months remaining, Dearman says they hope to increase student involvement with the Board of Trustees through both meetings and social events. He also hopes to make the university administration more accessible to students, as well as arrange more forums to address student issues like construction and athletics.
We have 6 more months as an entire team to accomplish what we will, so I have no doubt that we'll make it through everything that we outlined and set out to accomplish.
Dearman distributed his report to about 30 or 40 student organizations and just as many university administrators. The report will also be available on the student government website. Lydia?
Elizabeth Crumpler in the newsroom.
There are always new construction projects on campus, but officials strive to match that with plenty of trees and green space. Carolina's leadership in combining growth and conservation was honored at Campus Sustainability Day Wednesday afternoon at Rams Head Plaza. Demonstrations included learning about the energy conserved with fluorescent lighting and also sampling free organic food provided by Carolina Dining Services. Sustainability Director Cindy Pollock-Shea says that the time is now to support sustainability initiatives.
We are in the midst of a huge expansion of the campus, and we have the opportunity to introduce innovative strategies and the obligation to do so.
Rams Head Plaza was an appropriate site for the event. Its vegetative or green roof is one of UNC's chief sustainability successes. And the Chapel Hill Downtown Partnership sponsored a public forum Tuesday night to discuss downtown revitalization. The board wants to slowly transform Franklin Street into a small-town Main Street atmosphere by promoting economic development while highlighting the town's historic prestige. Board members hope to see fewer signs like this and more scenes like this. Working with citizens, the group wants to help keep Franklin Street safe and clean. Local residents could see even more downtown construction soon. This is the first site, a parking lot on the corner of Rosemary and Church Street. Right now, it's a pay-by-the-hour parking lot, but you could see condominiums and retail space here someday. The Wallace parking deck on East Rosemary Street is also part of the plan. This gated lot is one of downtown's main parking areas. These 2 spots would continue downtown development while workers are still finishing up Rosemary Village condominiums on West Rosemary Street.
We all know gas is expensive, so how about filling your car with what your bartender uses to fill your glass? Coors Brewing Company turns beer waste like stale beer into more than 1 million gallons of gas substitute ethanol. Franklin Street's Carolina Brewery donates its waste to a recycling program which turns used grains into topsoil and livestock feed. Brewmaster John Connolly sees the recycling program as a win-win situation.
The recycling program has really helped us a lot in that they're well organized and pick it up, and it's great for the environment and it's good for the area.
The recycling process in Orange County might be changing. A work group is discussing ways to reduce waste while also expanding programs and services. Changes could result in the curbside collection of additional materials like corrugated cardboard and junk mail envelopes. Director of Solid Waste Management, Gail Wilson, says there are lots of advantages.
So we're looking at modifying our recycling collection program to make it a more efficient type of program, perhaps cost less, that could more easily accommodate the expanded number of materials that are being considered.
The group hopes to reduce overall waste by 61% per person.
Students rushing to class through a line of traffic can get pretty dangerous, and UNC's Yield to Heels campaign hopes to educate pedestrians and drivers about how to safely coexist. Wednesday, volunteers and public safety officers encourage students to be aware, be safe, and be considerate. They advise drivers to proceed slowly through high traffic areas and be prepared to stop. Pedestrians were also told not to dart into traffic and to walk between crosswalk lines. Traffic safety official Katie Jones says pedestrians face additional risk in the fall season.
Don't assume that the driver is going to slow down or stop, and also don't assume that they can see you. This time of year we have particularly problems with glare during the early morning and the early afternoon hours.
Failure to yield at marked crosswalks and jaywalking tickets cost $10, with an additional $110 in court costs. October is Domestic Family Violence Awareness Month. Tuesday was the 4th annual March for Family Peace on Franklin Street. The sign says it all. 1 in 3 women is in an abusive relationship. That's why young and old came out bundled up Tuesday night to take a stand against domestic violence. They marched and chanted together to show their support for those who are suffering.
What do we want?
Peace! They hope to make a statement and put an end to domestic violence.
Let our voices be heard tonight, tomorrow, next week, next month. Let them be clear and loud and unwavering.
Event organizers had a Spanish interpreter on hand to work with Hispanic participants. And Lydia, more and more professors at UNC are using an alternative method to give tests.
That's right. Reporter T.H. Cox tells us why students are dropping those blue books and picking up their laptops.
It's called Secure Exam, a relatively new program that enables students to take exams on their laptops.
When they open up their laptop and they receive the exam either by email or on paper, they open up an instant of Word, Microsoft Word, but it locks out the rest of the applications on their computer, so the professors can offer the exam in a secure environment without allowing students to go out to the internet to look for information, for example, or have information already stored on their laptops.
It was first introduced in the 2004-2005 school year by the College of Arts and Sciences in English, Political Science, and Foreign Language classes. Since then, more than 1,000 students have taken placement exams, midterms, and finals using their laptops.
Secure Exam enables students to take exams using tools with which they are familiar. Their computer, Microsoft Word, and Microsoft Excel, which means that it should be easier for the students to use.
Maureen was able to show me how the program worked, and it's very similar to Microsoft Word. That's why students are able to navigate the program so easily.
It was faster, I got to use spell check, I just felt it was more efficient.
Although Secure Exam sounds like a good idea, there are still some concerns.
There's still some distrust there about the ability of the software to remain secure in an exam environment, and because there's credit involved and grading involved, there's still the possibility of a technology failure at any point.
Still, many professors are adopting the program, and it's making the process of taking an exam easier for them and their students. In Chapel Hill, I'm T.H. Cox, Carolina Week.
Before students can take tests here, they have to be admitted. And UNC prides itself on accepting qualified students, but admissions can only pick up from students who apply.
That's right, and it's surprising that a number of applicants from some North Carolina counties is really low. So what makes some of these high school students different from their college-bound peers? We'll tell you in a special report.
I heard about this company dumping toxins in local rivers, and I called their executives to say stop. But they were too busy counting profits while the rivers are being destroyed, birds and fish are dying, and the local kids are getting cancer. So I organized a huge protest, and we actually got the company shut down. But now half the town's unemployed, and the kids are twice as sick since they can't get health care, since their parents lost the insurance they had when they worked for the company who dumped all the toxins in the first place.
Okay, guys, time for takeoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Wow! Whoa, look at that! Is that you, Biddle?
Hey kids, it's time to go to the planetarium.
Moorhead Planetarium, where dreams become reality.
UNC Chapel Hill prides itself on being the university of the people. But what makes someone apply to Chapel Hill? Or, more importantly, if North Carolina schools are supposed to provide the same level of education, what keeps students in some counties from applying to four-year colleges? Carolina Week went to Greene County to investigate. On a warm and sunny October morning, Greene Central High School's yearbook staff is photographing this year's homecoming court.
Put your hand in your pocket or something. Yeah.
In addition to sharing a homecoming picture in the yearbook, all of these young men and women share at least one other thing with UNC junior Quentin Harper. They all plan to graduate from college.
I began in 9th grade taking the challenging curriculum, and there was this feeling that they were helping me progress beyond high school and into college.
Harper graduated from Greene County's only high school with 175 other students, but that year only about 40 of them had plans to go to college, and only 4 applied to Carolina. Carolina Week found that money matters. The richer a county is, the more likely its young people are to go to college, and the more likely they are to apply to Carolina. We ranked counties by their total wealth. Then we used data from UNC's admissions office to rank each North Carolina county by its applicants to UNC. What we found might not surprise you. Here we have the 20 poorest and the 20 wealthiest counties in the state. After adjusting for population, we found that the poorest counties have a mere handful of applicants, while wealthier counties like Mecklenburg and Wake average well over 1,000 every year. Shirley Ort directs scholarships and student aid at UNC. In more than 30 years, she's seen a pattern hold true among affluent students.
They get to go to better schools, and they have counselors, if not, in the public system, in the private system, that in private schools that are pushing them toward more selective colleges and universities. And for a lot of really low-income kids, they're just absent that kind of support.
But counselors aren't the only resource that can be missing. Many of the young people coming from poorer areas are first-generation college students. Like Harper, many are breaking a vicious cycle. Generations of children following their parents by stopping their educations after high school graduation.
The more higher education people get, the more they usually want. And usually people's experience in higher ed is positive. And so we're counting on the continuing transformative effect of higher ed.
Raise your hand if you are going to college.
Faculty hope to always see all hands raised, and they want all students to fulfill their highest aspirations. As for Harper, he's well on his way, and he looks forward to graduating from college.
More than excited about walking across that stage. Not nervous at all, because I feel prepared and I feel ready to go into the world and to do what I want and to do those things that'll make me happy, and at the same time to do those things in which I can be of service to others.
But for now, he's one of a handful for his class, and with 60% of this past year's Greene County High School graduates not entering four-year programs, one of the poorest counties in North Carolina has more to do before Quentin Harper becomes the rule and not the exception. Greene County administrators attribute the recent increase in the number of students going to four-year colleges to a College for Everyone program and Apple iBooks for every student.
While some students are thinking about what to be for Halloween, others have more pressing thoughts on their mind. As graduation approaches, seniors have their careers to worry about, and University Career Services, or UCS, wants to help seniors prepare. This week, UCS held a workshop on effective interviewing. Students developed their skills by stepping into roles and interviewing each other. Graduate student Betsy Haven says she wants the practice.
I think it
would be really great to do one of their mock interviews. It sounds awful and nerve-wracking and horrible, but I think it would be good for me anyway.
InterviewPoint.com offers pointers for writing your resume and preparing for those scary interviews. Members have access to more than 1,000 real interview questions from more than 70 leading worldwide employers and can find out about job openings and company philosophies. Registration is free through October.
Rob Ellis is here talking about our weather, and it has been cold outside.
It's finally fall.
That's right, fall is officially here, and it does feel like it. And though it might look like a beautiful spring day, looks can be deceiving. It seems that the bee in our video is confused. It's cold outside, but will we see any warmer temperatures? I'll let you know coming up.
Art can be many, many, many things. The North Carolina Museum of Art offers one of the premier art collections in the Southeast, and it's yours to discover. There's something for everyone. Works by classic and contemporary artists, a 164-acre museum park, an outdoor concert series, performances, and so much more. Experience all that art can be at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
North Carolina is where the wonders never cease. It's where visitors and residents alike can be touched by these things and always remember the embrace of clouds around a mountain peak, sparkling water forever in a hurry, a bridge less traveled, an enchanted wetland forest, and a place where the sun meets the sea.
Well, time now to take a look at our Carolina Week weather. I'm weathercaster Rob Ellis. Let's go ahead and start with our weather headlines. On Monday, we saw our weather dramatically change as we saw a system move through, brought some cold, dry air down from the northwest, and that's why we're going to see those clear and cold conditions continue through the rest of our forecast period. There is a frost advisory in effect, and that does mean that in some of the low-lying areas, you may see some frost and freezing occur as our temperatures are going to get down close to the freezing mark. We are going to see some weekend warming, though, towards the end of the weekend, and as we move through Halloween, I know many of you are concerned about your Halloween plans. I'll show you that in the 4-day forecast coming up. But let's start with the satellite map and see what's happening over North Carolina. You can see we're clear at the moment. Much of the southeast is as well. And the system that actually came through and pushed through our area actually brought us those cold, dry conditions down from the northwest, and that's what we're going to see locked into our area. If we go to the surface map, you'll see the high pressure that's been locked into our area, and that's going to persist for the next few days. That high pressure means clearing, very little clouds, and that's going to mean that our days are going to be warm, but those nights are going to be very, very chilly. Let's go ahead and see that in our 4-day forecast. Starting out on Friday, you're going to see some clouds in the area, but those are going to move out. 58 degrees for your high, 34 for your low, and in some of the low-lying areas you may see some frost or freezing. But as we move into Saturday, the clouds move out, our temperatures drop or come up a little bit to 60 degrees, and we see an overnight low of 36. And as we move into Sunday, we'll continue that warming trend with a high of about 72 degrees, low overnight 40. And as we move into Halloween, I promised I wouldn't say spooktacular, but it does look like it's going to be a nice day. 74 for your high and 46 overnight for your low, so you can't complain about the conditions there if you have that great Halloween costume picked out. Now, if your weekend or your Halloween plans bring you out to the beach, let's take a look at the conditions there. Saturday and Sunday both appear to be clear, 66 degrees for your high. As we move into Sunday, slightly warmer. If you're going the other direction to the mountains, 45 degrees for your high on Saturday. Sunday, it's slightly warmer, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a few flakes of snow in the northern mountains. And for your game day, if you're heading down to Miami, it does look like we'll see kickoff at noon. ESPN2 is where you can catch the game. Our temperature will be about 76 degrees, and we may actually bump up into the 80s as the game goes on, but partly cloudy skies. Does look like it'll be nice there. And for Halloween here, it's going to be wonderful.
Good. I remember it was so hot last year, so it's good to see those fall temperatures come back.
It'd be beautiful.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, Phil Jones has our sports this time. Now, I know that Tara has her basketball bracelet on, but we're not quite there yet, are we?
We're not there yet. We do have a basketball distribution coming up this weekend, but we also have a really big game for the Heels down in Miami. So, coming up in Carolina Week Sports, last year the Heels were able to kick the Miami Hurricanes out of the national championship race. Will they be able to repeat the feat this weekend?
Come on. And it's a block!
What? What kind of kick was that? You've got to be kidding me!
Hey, hot shot. Sounds like you know a lot about the game.
You should put that to use. Come on, let's go take a jog.
There are plenty of ways that you can volunteer in your community.
Just figure out what you like to do and pass it on to others.
And you know what? You can have a lot of fun doing it, too.
Pick those knees up. Keep going. Pick those legs up. Let's go. All right now, show them how to kick that ball.
To find out ways you can volunteer in your community, log on to teensvolunteer.org.
Okay, Ben, here we go, buddy. That was great, Ben. This time, just try to kick the ball.
Do what you like to do. Volunteer.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Philip Jones. Last year's win against number 4 Miami was one of the biggest in Carolina history. This year, the Tar Heels will take on the Hurricanes in Miami. Will Carolina be able to pull off the upset once again?
Who could forget the last time UNC and Miami met for a friendly game of football?
Kick away, high enough, long enough. It's good! It's good! Carolina has won the game!
This year, Miami has home advantage, and Coach John Bunting knows the Hurricanes won't be surprised twice.
They're really, really good. They're as athletic and as fast a team as we've seen. Their defense is suffocating.
The Heels aren't headed to Miami empty-handed. Powerback Ronnie McGill should carry the Miami defense for some good yards and into the end zone.
Ronnie's going to make some people miss, but mostly Ronnie's going to drag tacklers, break tackles. Hard to bring down.
Coach Bunting knows the Heels will need more than just McGill to beat the number 6 ranked Hurricanes.
We'll have to play our very, very best ball game. We'll have to have our absolute A-plus game.
None of this bothers McGill, who missed last year's victory.
They might be a little mad.
We'll see if Carolina can pull off another upset this year, but at least the goalposts at Keenan are safe for now. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ryan Ball, Carolina Week Sports.
What a great scene. The Heels had plenty of support during last year's game. It was played in front of a sellout crowd. Big games like that are important to the athletics department for a variety of reasons. Reporter Heather Catlin joins us from Keenan Stadium to tell us why. Heather?
Well, Philip, fans filling these seats in Keenan Stadium will bring a better home field advantage to the Heels, but it also brings more money to the athletic department. But where exactly does that money go? 60,000 people squeeze into Keenan Stadium to watch the Tar Heel football team, while almost 22,000 crowd into the Dean Smith Center to watch the legendary men's basketball team. You'd think the athletic department brings money to the university, right? Wrong. Senior Associate Athletic Director for Business and Finance, Martina Ballin, says the athletic department makes only enough money to break even.
It's our goal really to continue to be able to operate in the black, to cover all of our costs. And it's a challenge just to be able to do that without receiving any other funding. We have to generate it all ourselves.
Martina Ballin says the athletic department runs on a $48 million budget, and the majority of that money comes from men's basketball and football ticket sales, as well as donations. As the money-making sports, the football and men's basketball teams help run the entire program, including the other 26 Olympic sports. In fact, football and basketball bring in more than 60% of the total revenue, but only use about 30%. The other sports bring in only about 13%, while they use more than 23%. UNC President Emeritus William Friday says he's concerned that universities around the country are making too many financial commitments.
In sum, I would say that the thing that worries me most is that I don't think we can keep this up, and the arms race is going to collapse one of these days. And somebody will have to pay these bills, and they're massive.
Friday blamed some of that overspending on coaches' salaries.
There's too much money here. And the coaches will tell you themselves, this worries them to death.
But at the same time, he credits the integrity of the university and the coaching staff.
I think of all the institutions I've seen, studied, been a part of, the University at Chapel Hill is the finest example of the best that you can be when you play this level of intercollegiate competition.
Although the athletic department doesn't bring money to the university, it brings attention. Just this past year, the men's basketball national championship win made headlines in newspapers and magazines across the nation. This attention might recruit new fans, which could mean more money for university programs. But the biggest contribution of the athletic department to the university, Tar Heel pride, simply can't be measured in dollars and cents. The athletic department runs on a $48 million budget, and all of that money goes back into the athletic programs. And it's spent for a variety of things, including field maintenance, equipment repairs, and academic support for the athletes.
Heather, you mentioned that coaching salaries pose a problem. Just how much of the budget is taken up by these salaries?
About $4 million is divided between the men's basketball coaches and the football coaches.
So Heather, does athletic money go to support any other departments on the Carolina campus?
Well, Phil, actually it does. Some of that money goes to the exercise and sports science program and the marching band. The trainers help the student athletes on the field while the marching band pumps up the crowd.
Heather Catlin reporting from Keenan Stadium. Thanks, Heather. And one more note about Saturday's game. It was originally scheduled to be on ESPN at 3:30. It has now been moved to ESPN2 at noon.
Okay, had to note that game change, or that channel change.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
And Halloween is less than a week away, and UNC students are getting geared up for ghosts and goblins.
Reporter Ada Wilson's at a haunted hospital showing us how students are literally getting into the spirit.
Thanks, Lydia. It says, enter if you dare, but I wanted to see if this haunted house was really a scare. After the break, I'll show you what's inside.
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-2-RECYCLE for your free shopping guide. Environmental Defense, finding the ways that work.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
If you're feeling sick, a trip to the hospital is usually the cure.
That's right, but not this time. Reporter Ada Wilson tells us why.
The UNC Red Cross Club started Halloween a little early this year with a haunted hospital and airing house dorm. Fundraising chair Corinne Burns says the doctor-patient scene is one of the scariest attractions.
We have some really, really great screamers in that particular scene, and people seem to really react to it well.
But that wasn't the only thing that kept students lined up outside. Haunted candy and deranged mental patients left students screaming and laughing as they left.
Normally, when I leave the hospital, I'm feeling better than ever, but this haunted hospital left chills down my spine.
Burns says there's more to this hospital than just a night of fun.
Acres of Love is a nonprofit organization in South Africa that provides comprehensive care for infants and children with HIV and AIDS. And the benefit, which will be held December 1st, is going to raise $10,000 for that organization, and we're raising money for that benefit.
And students say it's worth the wait to start the Halloween season off right. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ada Wilson, Carolina Week.
That looks very scary. I don't really do haunted houses.
A lot of good fun, but it was for a good cause. That was awesome.
Yes, it was. All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
That does it. Thanks for watching. Good night.